What if there were a universe, a cosmos, which began in shining blackness out of nothing, out of fire, out of a single silent breath, and into it came billions and billions of stars, stars beyond imagining, and near one of them a world, a blue-green world so beautiful that learned clergymen could not even speak about it cogently. And brilliant scientists with their physics, their mathematics, their empirical impressionistic musing, in trying to describe it, would begin to sound like poets. What if there were a universe in which a world was born out of a smallish star? And into that world at some point flew red-winged blackbirds, and into it swam sperm whales, and into it bloomed crocuses, and into it blew wind to lift the tiniest hairs on naked arms in spring, and into it at some point grew onions out of soil, and in went Mount Everest and also the coyote we've spotted in the woods about a mile from here, just after sunrise on these mornings when the moon is full. The very scent of him makes his brother, our dog, insane with fear and joy, an ancient inbred memory. Into that world came animals and elements and plants and imagination, the mind and the mind's eye. If such a universe existed and you noticed it, what would you do? What song would come out of your mouth? What prayers, what praises, what sacred offering, what hurling dance, what religion and what reverential gesture would you make to greet that world every single day that you were in it? Come, let us worship together. Faith in Summer by Ellen Hamilton. In faith together, we light our small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather Sun's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly in these days of deep summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, delighting and nourishing all beings. We bask in the warmth and the heat of these days with lightened hearts and quickened senses, in gratitude and in faith. Let us remember that love, that greatest miracle and power of the universe, is abundant and apparent all around us. Our hymn this morning is "Love Will Guide Us." And now Deborah has a story for all generations.
Unmute yourself.
There we go. Have you ever thought of our faith as an ancestral tree? It can be awe-inspiring to see the numerous roots and branches that make up our religious family. The roots of the tree are the values we hold dear, such as reason, tolerance, and freedom, hope, faith, and love. These roots have brought forth many ancestors carrying these values out into the world. Though they have passed before us, they are still somehow with the family, kept alive in memories and stories or the values they passed on to us. This is the trunk from which the tree gets its strength. It is what unites us, perhaps in name, but also in those very stories, memories, and values that endure. You know many of the traditions our ancestors stood for, our 7 principles handed down as a guiding vision for our shared humanity, our strong history of working for social justice and peacemaking. The family tree of Unitarian Universalism was watered by various streams of thought and belief. Unitarianism holds that God is one. Universalism holds that everyone is saved, not just a certain group. These are the 2 major streams of thought, but there are others. There are Eastern and pantheist traditions. These sources fed the writings of figures such as Emerson and Thoreau. More recently, there are neo-pagan streams that can awaken our senses to the natural world, and atheist streams which can ground our thinking in rationality. All of our sources keep the tradition alive and organic, ever growing, ever changing. The UU community comprises the branches of the family tree, growing and changing to find the light, the multifaceted truth that we all seek. On these branches are leaves, individual members of congregations. Each leaf is positioned at a unique place to absorb the sunlight in his or her own way. These leaves give life to our tree even after they have fallen, nourishing the roots of our tradition with the reality of its members, truth-seeking, compassionate, justice-demanding, nature-conscious faith. The fruits of this tree are the writings, the music, the poetry, the conversations, and the rituals that have developed as expressions of our tradition. The songs that we sing every Sunday, the lighting of a chalice, and the beautiful words we hear, the silence of our meditation, these are all fruits. The fruits of this tree also include actions, such as the current Standing with Love and Black Lives Matter campaigns that work to raise awareness and fight oppression. The congregation in which you find yourself is grounded, rooted in values, and supported by a history of thoughtful, courageous, and unyielding people. It continues to grow and change, but will always be there to shelter and protect its members. You are the birds in the tree. You have taken in the fruits of the tree through music and stories and friendships and conversations and actions. You have absorbed the essence of the UU tradition and have been nourished by it and what it has to give. You too become the ancestors that carry on the traditions and the important social justice work of our shared faith. And always, love will guide us along the way.
So Lynda Clark, it's time for your moment of justice message.
So my shirt came from General Assembly in 2016, which was what inspired the Black Lives of UU movement, which really moved an internal awareness to an activism to bring to First Parish a mission of really changing the way we look at things and trying to make a difference. So today we are raising our banner that reads Black Lives Matter. It has a heart on it from the Side with Love campaign. We attended the College of Social Justice in Salt Lake, which was where we first learned about immigrant rights. In our little towns, in our little corners, we're just so unaware of these things. Not anymore. There's been a sea change. You know, a moment of hope. We listened to Reverend Barber's Poor People's campaign last night. It airs again, and I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. This is a sea change. And I'm really proud that our congregation, that our governing board took a stand to raise the banner. So we'll be pulling it up where everyone can see it at 1 o'clock today. It's a simple, we'll have 2 brief readings, and I encourage you to stand in the shade because it's pretty hot out there unless we get a nice cloud in the sky. So you're welcome to join us with your mask and be there to show your solidarity, or drive by and celebrate it in your own way. Thank you for your support, everyone.
Thank you, Lynda. Mindful by Mary Oliver. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the oceans shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. And we sing together, Draw the Circle Wide. In our isolation, we are still connected. And so we lift up gratitude this morning for the amazing, growing, abundant, interconnected web of life and all that supports our lives today, right now. I'm going to read Prayer for the Great Family by Gary Snyder. It's patterned after an Iroquois prayer. Iroquois. Gratitude to Mother Earth, sailing through night and day and to her soil, rich, rare, and sweet. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to plants, the sun-facing, light-changing leaf and fine root hairs, standing still through wind and rain. Their dance is in the flowing spiral grain. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to air, bearing the soaring swift and the silent owl at dawn. Breath, our song, clear spirit breeze. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to wild beings, our brothers, teaching secrets, freedoms, and ways, who share with us their milk, self-complete, brave, and aware. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to water, clouds, lakes, rivers, glaciers, holding or releasing, streaming through all our bodies' salty seas. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to the sun, blinding, pulsing light through trunks of trees, through mists, warming caves where bears and snakes sleep. He who wakes us. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to this great sky who holds billions of stars and goes yet beyond that, beyond all powers and thoughts, and yet is within us, grandfather space. The mind is his wife, so be it.
from a place of isolation to a blending of our hearts, from a cold and empty echo swells a song of many parts. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. There's a pleasure in aloneness. There's this precious for a while. But when beauty calls for sharing, then we crave a friend's warm smile. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. Strength can come from undoing. Learn with courage when we're pressed. Yet what splendid strength and courage in community is blessed. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish.
Thank you, Olga. That was so beautiful. And Pam, where do you find those gorgeous images? This morning, before the service, I was watching a little bit of the CBS Sunday morning show, and Steve Hartman goes around. His thing is to go around the country and find really cool, heartwarming stories. And the one he published today was a mailbox hidden deep in the woods that a man had, on a trail, a man had gone in there and just put up a mailbox. It said Dad on it. And he didn't publicize this. He had lost his father about a year before. He missed his correspondence with his dad, the notes and cards and letters that they used to exchange. And so he began to write to his dad and leave those in the mailbox. And other people using that trail discovered it, and pretty soon they were doing the same thing, and people started leaving blank journals, and people coming along would write to their dad or a tribute to their dad in those journals. It became an amazing thing. I love that. Such reflection, such grief and processing and connection beyond the physical plane. That's part of thriving in the world. My own dad died some years ago, and I'm realizing more and more as I get older, how much I miss talking to him, how many things I haven't said to him. And so today, on this Father's Day, I'd like to end the service with gratitude for fathers and fathering, for the great gifts that fathering, when done well, can bring to the thriving of the world. I'll start with a tribute to fathers by Lorraine Bottorff McNeil. Today is Father's Day, a day in which we honor and offer gratitude for our fathers in whatever form or fashion they come into our lives. Biological fathers, stepfathers, adoptive and foster fathers, grandfathers, spiritual fathers, and all of the uncles, brothers, and friends who, whether they know it or not, have helped to fill the role of father in someone's life. We are shaped by their presence and their absence, by how they choose to act and when they abstain, what they say, and when they remain silent. Let us remember today and always the impact that these people have on us as individuals and as a community. And let us also remember that this relationship is not one-sided and that we as a community are called to support and empower the fathers of this world, no matter how they came into their roles and regardless of their relatives' successes or failures. Let us raise up their triumphs, and let us have the grace to forgive them their all too human failures. Let us love our fathers and each other. And finally, a meditation by Evan Carville Ziemer. I believe in fathering. I believe in the radical idea that men have the full human capacity to nurture hair bows and baseballs, cooking and creativity, tools and tiaras, camping and dancing, snuggles and shrieks of delight. Too many fathers don't believe in their own fathering. Too many are scarred by their own fathers to hear their hearts say otherwise. Too many have known fathers who, faced with a quivering lip and tears, could only say, "Man up." Too many have known fathers who knew only yelling and hitting. Too many have known fathers who lost sight of their sacred role of protector and became tormentor. But I believe in fathering. When a human being gestates and gives birth, her brain changes permanently. A father's brain changes permanently too, changes as he rocks his baby to sleep, delights in baby games, and soothes bumps and bruises. A father earns his new neurobiology. In a world where too many mothers hand their co-parent directions more specific than those given to the babysitter, where a father out with his kids is asked, "Are you babysitting? And where's mom?" Where fathers are the punchline, I believe in fathering. I believe in the radical idea that men have the full human capacity to nurture. Whether their children come through birth, adoption, or fostering, through scouts, sports, Sunday school, or youth group. I've known too many gay dads, too many single fathers, too many men raising children others couldn't, to believe otherwise. I believe we all, especially our children, deserve to know that the human capacity to nurture belongs to every one of us. I believe in fathering. So this morning, if there's one message overall that I would like to leave with you, my friends, to resonate through the summer months ahead. It is this. Grateful eyes look at each thing as if they had never seen it before, and caress it as if they would never see it again. David Steindl-Rast. So I leave you with the words of Wendell Berry. We clasp the hands that go before us and the hands who come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms and the larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all poets passing in and out of life, who move also in a dance to a music so subtle and vast that no ear hears it, except in fragments. Go in peace.